hours of the regular show on terrestrial radio, and you wanted a little bit more, so that's why you found the Gun Talk After Show podcast, where we saved all the best things that we can't say on regular radio. Now here's Tom, Michelle, and Jim for the Gun Talk After Show.
All right, this is the After Show for Gun Talk, where we gather together to do the thing that we do. Michelle, you're over there. What do we do here?
I'm not quite sure. We talk, we laugh. Every now and then gun information gets passed around.
Basically, it's the same thing we do all week, except there's a red on-air light. That's
This is true. That's right. So we got Jim and Michelle, and there may be some information that leaks out, but not if we can help it.
Not on purpose.
Oh, my goodness.
It's normally about sharing the love.
Share the love. That's right. And just in case anybody doesn't know, the 9mm is the best, so take that, suckers.
Oh, bar fight.
Yar. I thought it was...
And then he goes back to the bar and lets those guys over there fight about it, right?
And then somebody brings up 357 SIG versus 10. What?
What? Say what?
It's like tossing a
that's those two guys. They've been arguing about that in the corner for like 10 years. It's like two old guys in the corner arguing. They never,
Yeah, would you rather have a Brian or a Rocco today up first?
Let's go, Brian. Let's have out of Chesterfield. Is that Chesterfield, Missouri? Where are you, Brian?
Chesterfield, Virginia, sir.
Virginia. Okay, good deal. All right, so your question for us.
I currently run the gamut of Glock 40 calibers and was wondering, I want to convert over to 9mm. Am I going to get the same reliability in these barrels?
All right, we got a weird phone there. I'm going to jump in here, Brian. I think what we've got here is basically you're shooting 40, you think about switching to 9, and we'll back that around a little bit. I know a lot of people who are switching, just basically standardizing on 9. And, like a lot of us, we got 45s and 40s and 9s and everything, and they're just going, I'm just going to go 9 across the board. If for no other reason than, man, you can buy ammo pretty cheaply, and on the defensive side, it does what you want. Michelle, on the retail side, what are you seeing? People pretty much asking for 9s?
It's the most popular go-to. I think you have the most selection of ammunition purchases, as far as plus P, not plus P, grain-wise, what do you want? And they really specify, I guess here recently, that they want all of their guns chambered in the same caliber, if at all possible. So that does seem to be a growing trend that we've been seeing here recently. And it only makes sense. You can buy bulk. You don't have to buy a bunch of different stuff. You can get it anywhere. I mean, it's an extremely popular worldwide known caliber. So, it's...
Yeah, I mean, there's no place on the planet you can't find 9mm ammos.
Right.
I think.
But I know part of his question is converting the 40 to a 9 going to give him reliability? Tom, I don't know what your thoughts are, but if he takes that pistol to a gunsmith and it's smithed properly, it would be just as reliable as the original caliber. That conversion means changing out the magazine, the barrel, the slide. Somebody would have to check to make sure the head size was correct, so it would be extracting properly. But in my opinion, unless he just wants a new gun, it'd be just as good converting it.
Depending on what he's got into it, there is the allure of wanting a new gun and saying, I'm going to trade or sell so I can have a new gun. But if you've done a bunch of mods on your 40 and you want to shoot 9 in it, and I've not done that. I don't know the process, what's involved. For me, that's pretty much, I'm pretty much a stock guy. I mean, if I want a 9, I get a 9 and get rid of something else. So tomorrow is my day of pulling guns out and making my list, because I am going to be selling some guns to get some other guns.
Ooh.
You actually get rid of something?
Yeah. Well, I looked at him and said, okay, here's my rule. That old rule of if you haven't used it in 2 years, you should get rid of it. Well, that's not true in guns.
That's only close.
20 years, maybe.
It's funny you say that. That's my rule. If I haven't, and I have guns I have literally not shot in 20 years.
Do you have any guns you've never shot?
Yes.
Oh, let me give you a mailing address for those.
We'll try them out.
I do.
One size fits most.
I have guns that are in the box that have been there for 20 years, still with the hang tags on them.
And Tom will call him for warranty repair. Yeah, I just broke this out. And hey, we got Rocco who's been hanging patiently. Why don't we grab Rocco while we can?
I got this weird vision of Rocco hanging, like hanging from a tree.
Not literally, no.
Rocco, are you just hanging around? What are you doing, man?
I'm here and I'm much alive. Thank you.
Attaboy.
Good to hear.
Okay. Just wanted to kind of let everybody know out there that I took a course, actually hosted a course roughly around about a month ago with Mr. Rob Pincus himself. And I've taken a number of classes from him. Outstanding instructor. Highly encourage everybody to check him out. Take at least one of his classes. True professional. And he really does the firearms culture and the industry really positive, gives a really positive spin onto it. So, good guy, really good guy.
I think I was the first person to put Rob Pincus on TV. We went up to Valhalla, the place up outside of Montrose, Colorado that he had for 2 or 3 years, and we did that. I think it may have been the very first shoot I did with Personal Defense TV, PDTV, when I created the first TV show about self-defense with guns, and Rob was the first guy I had on. So I've known him for a long time. And you're right, he presents so well and does such a stand-up job for the firearms community. I would agree with you on all those.
The one thing that attracted me to him more than anything, aside from his professionalism, was that he's a New Jersey guy. He was born in New Jersey, and he really understands exactly what we go through here as residents of what we call, quote unquote, the slave state, and he's very sympathetic to us.
Now, let me ask you, Rocco, have you been to any other firearm self-defense schools or classes?
Oh, good Lord, yes. Well, starting right off from the beginning, I'm actually a training counselor for the NRA, which means I can make instructors. I basically have almost every one of their disciplines. Don't have reloading yet. Getting there, but, trying to convince my wife that I need another hobby, that's really, really difficult. Of course. I'm a TC. I've taken training with a host of others. Larry Vickers. Who else? Tactical Response. Some other places. Masad Ayub, the Mag 40. A lot of other different. A whole bunch, a whole list of other classes. Really professionals that are.
All right. I got a question for you then. You've trained with a bunch of really good guys, because there are certain names that keep coming up. Is there something that you think they all share? What is it that makes them good instructors?
And I try to do this myself in my classes. There's a passion there. When they train, or let me say it again. When I look up trainers, because I do a lot of research on my trainers before I take their courses and put money towards them. I look to see how passionate they are. And that's what attracts me to them is really, when they give courses, I want to see that their students are absorbing that passion in them, and the light bulbs are clicking on each one of their students. And I've got some other guys and gals that are out there that I have in my sights that I want to take additional classes from. I'll tell you right now, Chris Serino, definitely number one on my list. I'm gonna definitely take a class with him. Mike Seeklander's another one that I'm looking to take a class from. Tiger McKee is also on that list, and I have to get the Thunder Ranch before Mr. Smith decides to retire. So those are the guys that are on my radar.
It's interesting you say passion, because you're right, but what's interesting, and Jim pointed out here to me, he says the passion for them is about communicating. The passion is about teaching and instructing. Yes, they know the material, but their passion is trying to get it into the students. That's the real passion, and you can feel it when you're there.
I watched one of Clint Smith's videos, and he said something that I thought was spot on. One person asked him, if you were to give advice to an instructor, a firearms instructor, one piece of advice, what would it be? And Mr. Smith said, it's not about you. It's not about you. When your students are in your class, it's not about you. It's about them. And
that's pretty much
really
it.
Resonated. That's it.
That's the good. It's good for any instructor to be aware of. Rocco, thank you. I appreciate that. Hey, guys, let's take a 60-second break, and then we will come back because I want to talk a little bit about that and about 10 millimeter versus everybody else. We'll be right back.
Get the fastest semi-automatic trigger for your AR rifle with Franklin Armory's BFS trigger. The binary firing system offers a 3-position selector for binary, semi, and safe modes. In binary mode, your AR fires 1 round on pull and 1 round on release. Works in any AR, is easy to install, no paperwork needed. 100% U.S. made, patent pending. The BFS trigger from Franklin Armory at a dealer near you or at franklinarmory.com.
In the war on terror, fighting crime in the streets, in competition and homes around the world, one name in firearms stands out: Sig Sauer. Our pistols and rifles are renowned for their unfailing performance. This same commitment to excellence can be found in our line of SigTac accessories and the training offered by the Sig Sauer Academy. For unmatched quality, reliability, and innovation when it counts, choose Sig Sauer. Visit sigsauer.com today.
All right, we're back with you. It is Tom and Jim and Michelle, and we've gotten rid of those pesky callers.
Oh, my.
Boy, what's wrong with this guy?
Boy, yeah, this talk show would be great if it wasn't for callers, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. If everybody would just listen to me,
It's not about just listening to your own voice, Tom.
It's not about them. It's all about me. Didn't we just? I thought we just covered that.
Right?
Goodness gracious.
Do we really
No,
listen,
it's
or we
Rocco
just let them finish talking and then we start talking again? Is it?
What, Jim? I'm sorry, I wasn't listening.
Touche.
Thank you.
Touche.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
No, I think Rocco had it right. It's the passion, and it's the instructor who realizes it's not about him or her. And you do sometimes you see some of these folks who it's all about making a name for themselves as opposed to doing good work and letting the name build. But we're blessed. 20 years ago, you didn't have a lot. You had Gunsight and Thunder Ranch and a few people, but there are a lot of good instructors out there now. I mean, and it doesn't have to be a nationally known instructor, Michelle. I mean, you've got, in your family, you have good instructors.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that is coordinated with patience and being able to simplify the process, because what we do can be very complex. And you take somebody out there who has no real formal education, I'm going to say, on how to carry or what it means to carry, and you start talking about just the mental capacity that you have to be aware, and I have to do this and I have to do that. I mean, it's a lot. So you really have to break it down. You have to be patient. You have to understand their background. Everybody comes to the class for a different reason. Some of them come to the class because, unfortunately, something horrendous has already happened. And some of them come because they want to prevent that from happening. So there's so much.
Yeah, it's a great point. There's so much. I've heard it said many times, to really understand a subject, you need to start teaching that subject, whatever it is. And I'm thinking, Jim, about you and all the musical instruments that you play and all. And it's so natural to you now after all these years.
No, it isn't.
But if you were to take me and say, teach me how to play guitar, you're going to go, God, it's like going all the way back to the very beginning, the rudiments. And with guns, there's a lot there that we take for granted if we've been shooting a long time.
Yeah, that's a good analogy. But actually, I find with guns and music, I find out every day what I don't know. Every time I pick up an instrument or a gun, I learn something.
Well, we find that to be true. When you pick up an instrument, we all say, there's a lot that guy doesn't know.
Yeah. I also say every time I pick up an instrument, other people pick up guns. It's weird.
Wow.
Your world's
I don't know, there may be a correlation there.
Yeah,
we're making
so.
Fun of Jim's a fabulous musician and singer, too. So, as we see when the Hired Guns appears now and then, we're only allowed, the Hired Guns is allowed to perform once a year.
There's good reason for that.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. You're hoping that people would forget before it shows up again.
Nice.
But, seriously, we've talked about this when we're doing our video stuff and saying, we have to do some videos some assume that you have some basis of knowledge, but we need to do some that assume that you don't know anything. I mean, all the way back to, you're using this term revolver. What does that mean?
Mm-hmm.
What's
a double action?
Semi-auto. What does double action mean? And you have to be able to go all the way back to the top of the funnel, if you will, where people enter, and start working with them at that level of, okay, this is a firearm. This is called a handgun. This is a cartridge, which is made up of 4 components. The bullet is only one of those. That kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's an interesting process, this whole teaching thing. And once you start it, you have a renewed respect for every good teacher you ever had.
Yeah, I find myself getting ahead of myself quite a bit and have to think, nope, this person may know that, they may not, but lowest common denominator. Let's make sure everybody in this group, some people are going to have to just bear with me for a minute and, I know that stuff already, yeah, and you're going to have to hang in there.
Right. That's what group training is. Some are going to be ahead and some are going to be behind, yes.
Yeah. And most people that are in that position, they understand it. And, you're going over the safety rules again? Yep.
Yep. For the first 4 chapters, we'll be doing this.
Yes, exactly.
But I think it's important that the fundamental part of it being safety, and if you don't know, put it down and ask. That's the most important step. And I think people come with a respected fear to a firearm instructor because, you see, it's a deadly weapon if it's put into the wrong hands and used for the wrong reasons, or sometimes even when it's used in a self-defense situation. But that's the design. That's what it's for. This is what you need to do, and it's a scary process.
It can be. I'm just wondering, what's the most important thing to start off with when you've got a new student with a gun? What do you start with?
Well, we always start with safety. I'm sure that's where you go too, Jim.
Yeah, because the fun stuff that people go, shooting guns is fun, yeah, but that just happens automatically.
Right.
You've got it ingrained up front, the safety.
I've got an idea of a thing that I'm not sure people do, but I'm going to throw it out and get you guys to think about it, because I got an idea of maybe what we ought to start off our lessons with. Okay, let's take another 60-second break. We'll come back, and I'm going to throw this thing out, and I want to get your take on it, okay?
Yep.
We will be right back.
You know and trust Springfield Armory. Now that trusted gunmaker has an AR-15 rifle with all the features you want. The Saint features a mid-length gas system, a heavy tungsten buffer, and a 16-inch chrome Molly barrel with a 1-in-8 twist rate. Plus, the Saint has Bravo Company's Key Mod handguard. The next generation of America's personal defense rifle. See video of the Saint in action at springfield-armory.com. That's springfield-armory.com.
At Stag Arms, our firearms are built to exceed limitations and push boundaries. The Stag 10 and 10S from Stag Arms offer recreational and avid .308 shooters better accuracy and performance. Custom-designed forgings give the Stag 10 and 10S tighter tolerances and a modernized style, all while retaining the strength of mil-spec parts. Each model carries Stag Arms transferable lifetime warranty and infinite shot barrel guarantee. Find out more at stagarms.com.
Okay, I got this thought, just popped into my head, as things do. You really don't want to be inside of my head. You really don't.
A lot of room.
It's not a good. It's not.
Oh, wow.
Hello. Okay, what if we started off making sure that everybody in a firearms class knows that at any point you can ask a question? That may seem simple or obvious, but I think people are intimidated in a firearms class thinking, well, I don't want to look stupid, or I don't want to ask a dumb question.
Absolutely.
Or anything like that.
Yep.
It's that whole, there are no dumb questions. And if at any point, and we do this when we're doing videos with shooting, we want to say, look, any camera person, any sound person, anybody on the set can stop the shoot at any time. The moment you are unsure or uncomfortable with the safety of anything, you holler, and we will simply stop. And we will regroup and make sure everybody has a comfort level. We may have to change an angle, we may have to do something, But everybody has to know they have that power, that ability to stop and say, I don't understand what you just said there. Don't let me go on and on and on for a while. Okay, case in point. I got my perfect example. You both know my lovely wife, Pat. Mm-hmm. She went to Thunder Ranch, and she went to the whole thing. And sometime later, this is a 3-day class. Sometime later, I'm working with her, and I'm saying, well, are you looking at the front sight? Yes, I'm looking at the front sight. And I finally reach out there, and I touch the front sight. She says, that's not the front sight. I said, what? To her, the front sight was the one that was closest to her face.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. So we're talking 3 days of really good instruction from a really good instructor, and all the rest of it with me teaching her and everything else, and somewhere along the way, no one had ever pointed to it and said, that is the front sight.
Something simple, yeah.
Diagrams.
Perfect example.
Okay.
And so when I'm talking about focusing on the front sight, we're using the same words, but they don't mean the same thing.
Which is important because focal points are completely different.
Yeah, oh yeah. Well, and had you just, described, here's a pistol, here's the front sight, here's the rear sight, here's the slide, that would have avoided all that. Yeah,
a diagram.
Yeah, exactly. That's basic stuff that I skipped over because you start from wherever you are. You say, okay, I know all this stuff, and I'm thinking everybody knows what the front sight is, right? Clearly, who wouldn't know?
Huh.
Well, my wife wouldn't know, and she's a pretty smart lady, but she just hadn't been exposed to it before, So, other than the whole marrying me thing. But that's,
everybody's entitled to a mulligan.
But it's just thinking about making sure that everybody understands up front. Raise your hand, ask a question. If you're unsure, unclear, or uncomfortable, let's talk about it.
A line I use often in my training is the only stupid question is the one you don't ask. No matter how basic the question, if you don't know it, there's no sense in going forward because you're carrying on without it's like building a house and, did you let the foundation set? Well, no.
Well,
but we moved on.
Yeah, we started running out of blocks. So.
Yeah, so we just put a frame on it. It would hold.
This thing is going to fall down at some point, yes. It's not going to work. So.
Well, I know being a hunter's education instructor that we do the same thing. Like, apologize. This course is set for very basics. So if we're covering something you already know, sorry, but this is where we are and this is what we have to cover. And I do think that it is important to get out the very basic things out of the way immediately. Even if you can't remember the exact name, you at least, what is this part? Oh, that's the slide. Or tell me what it does, then I can understand better. Yeah.
All right, let's take that to people who know more and been to some schools and all of that. You were talking about apologizing and saying, this is a basic class. Well, sometimes you go to classes that are not basic, or even worse, people who want to go to the more advanced class because they think they're ready and they're not. How many times have I heard from Gunsight and Thunder Ranch and all people say, well, I want to, I don't need to take the basic handgun class because I've been shooting all my life. They want to jump into the second or third level. And they go, no, you can't do that. You need the prerequisite here.
Right.
And that's this class. Well, no, and then of course they get there and about 2 hours into the first of 5 days, they're going,
wow,
holy smoke.
I had no idea. I didn't know that.
Yeah. I didn't know it. I didn't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, don't be that guy, right? It's that old deal. Don't be that guy who says, oh, I've been shooting all my life. Oh, I've been to others. Just pay attention. I have been to Gunsight and taken the introductory handgun class 3 times. That's a 5-day, they're 250 class. And I learn something and get better every time. Part of it is because I only do it every few years. I'm basically relearning all the stuff that I have gotten bad habits in. You go back.
Right.
Which is worthwhile, too.
Yep.
But you're actually doing yourself a disservice if you try to oversell your ability. And if you go back and you say, I'm going to take this back up the second class or the third class, do yourself a favor and get out the month ahead of time and go out and shoot every week or every few days and really get yourself tuned up till you're back into the best form you can be so you can start advancing from that point, not from where you have digressed to.
There he goes, making sense again.
Oh, my goodness. That's why he gets paid the big bucks.
Yeah.
I call it up. I read it on the internet. Some dude said it. I just have to say it. I just read this stuff right here. What can I tell you?
It's your show. I heard it from you.
So, Michelle, I gather that you were helping Tori out before he got on the air. He had a revolver. Oh, it's what, a 640?
Right. It was a 640, and he didn't like the feel of recoil on that pistol.
Gee, I wonder why.
I know. I said I had the same problem. It took a long time to warm up to that gun. There is so much recoil that comes off of that back strap because it's not covered. It's just the frame that's exposed.
You're just getting the steel coming right back into your hand. So what'd you tell him? You got the whole grip thing going?
Yeah, I told him to check into a whole grip because I thought they had a boot grip that would fit over that frame and possibly take away some of that recoil. Plus, I know people like plus Ps and they're rated for plus P, but phew, that adds that's an extra punch to me. That's what that P stands for.
Plus P. Cute.
Yeah.
Punishing.
Yes. It hurts.
Well, he said he shot a couple rounds and I'm good.
Yeah. And that's the
shot
way you
357 Magnum, which is really a bear.
Oh, yeah.
He said he was going to dial it back to 38 plus P, which is telling you something.
It's still a lot. But I can remember when they first came out and we had traveling sales reps and like, oh, you got to try this pistol. Like, nope, 5 shots. I only needed 2. I'm good. So it did take a while for me to, I guess, be romanced by why I would need that ultralight frame. And I did give into it. I have one just like that in a 38, but I don't shoot plus Ps out of it.
Yeah, but that 327 Federal, that's the ticket.
That's the key. And he just happened to ask about it, and I just told him.
Just happened to ask, and Michelle's going, I'm going to get my regular 10% from the gun makers on this one.
This is my gun
She's
platform.
just got her whole sideline business pushing this. You're like the street pusher out there on the 327.
She got 10% for everyone she sold. She wouldn't be working here today.
Hot dog. I need to talk to Ruger. I'm an ambassador.
That's right.
That's right. So where's my check anyway? That's right.
At least a sash and a very nice tiara.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. I'm just going with the visual of you with the sash. This is going to be fun here. Miss America. This is me, Miss 327.
Yeah, I got the wave down. I know how to do it.
It's on the wrist.
I've watched people. We do live in a great time when there are so many opportunities to choose what fits perfectly, either to the amount of recoil or how it feels or how you're able to operate the firearm. I think this is the best time ever to have the selection that we have in the firearm industry. And along with ammunition, it matches it. Technology.
I mean, if you go back even 20 years, but certainly if you go back 40 years, there was not much there in the way of guns you would carry. It was pretty much going to be a revolver or, a few semi-autos. Now, I mean, we could sit down between the three of us and probably write down a list of 100 possible carry guns.
Oh, sure.
Right.
That's amazing.
Well, yeah, because you had the Ruger P series. The Smith & Wesson had the 39 and 5900 series pistols. I mean, there wasn't a whole lot. You had the big, heavy, what we say now are classic Smith & Wesson revolvers. The J-frame was still there.
I had one.
But, yeah, I mean, we didn't have that choice.
Would you say that the cause of, or it's just coincidental, the rise of the Glock seemed to be right around the time where more people were getting into handguns, and then the design seemed to take off like crazy from that. Is that timing-wise, that about right, Tara? I wasn't born back then,
right, but I'm not sure. Right. I'm not sure one caused the other. The Glock just appeared.
And people did not like it when it first came out.
Yeah, but a lot of people turned a lot of heads, though, too. A lot of people, what is this thing?
It was completely different.
It was weird. It got a lot of free press. It was all negative, but it made people want it because there was the whole deal of, it's a plastic pistol. It's designed to go through X-ray machines undetected.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, my God, we must ban the plastic pistol. Believe it or not, people today are going, what? What are you talking about? This was a big deal. There are people saying we must ban this. It's undetectable. I mean, other than the fact that it has a pound of steel in it, right?
Right.
And when you put it in an X-ray machine, it looks just like a pistol. But yeah. But other than that, you had the Chuck Schumers of the world saying we must ban this thing. Well, let me tell you, if you want to make something sell like crazy, all you need is somebody calling for the ban.
That's right.
Yeah.
We've seen that in everything. Ammunition, guns, my.
Why do I have 300 AR mags, right? 100 for every time there was going to be a serious effort to ban them.
Y2K? My gosh, the world was going to end?
Wow, I should ban my music career. Might actually start selling something.
Yeah, actually, we've kind of been talking about it.
I figured.
Yeah, then we got our own webpage out there.
Nice. I can count on you guys.
Oh, yeah, we got you back. We're just going to stick a knife in it. It's okay.
But you got it, yeah.
Yeah, don't mess with Emily. No, really, don't mess with Emily.
Nice. Okay, you guys, I'm marking this stuff down, One day.
One of these days. That's right.
You
It'll show up when you least expect it.
You have been marked and measured.
That's right. All right, so, Michelle, do you own a 10-millimeter?
Of course I do. I have a SIG.
Silly question.
Silly boy.
That's true.
Yeah, I've
true. You
got a beautiful
you got the
gun
GT20,
talk.
don't you?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, you got the GT20. That's true. Mm-hmm. You do have that. I know you. So you both have the GT guns.
Mm-hmm.
10-millimeter is an interesting caliber, and in the full power loads, it is a hoss. I mean, it's the real deal. But you load it down, and you basically have a kind of almost a wimpy-ish 40, and some of the cheaper. I found some Partenavia, I couldn't even say what it was. It's probably from Pakistan or something, 10-millimeter stuff. And it is like wimpy 40. It's 9-millimeter level. Fun to shoot, but then I shot some of Mike McNett's double tap ammo, his 10-millimeter ammo in it. Holy smoke!
Night and day, huh?
Yeah, it's like, oh, goodness gracious, that's a real gun. But I think I kind of want to look into, it's going to sound very weird, a small 10 and maybe a 3-inch barrel 1911. But then, of course, I poked around and went, oh, Glock already has that. It's called the Glock 29. They've got a baby Glock in 10-millimeter.
They do. I did not know that.
But you really want a plastic gun, Tom?
Well, he's going to the airport. That's why.
You know what? I'm pretty ecumenical about the whole thing. It doesn't matter, plastic,
word.
steel. Yeah, I know. It's Sunday. I can do that.
Okay, sorry.
I like Glocks. Well, I like some Glocks. Some of them are just too big and fat. Mm-hmm. And I would want to put my hand on the 29 before I try it. The 20, that's their full-size 10.
That's big.
It's just a big old something.
Yeah. Well, like the 42s and 43s. I mean, I know they're subcompact. They're also single stack.
Single stack, yeah.
Yeah, and they're nice little.
Yeah, they're perfect.
They are. I have a 42. That's 380, right? The 42. I've got the 42 with a Crimson Trace laser on it and one of those little sticky holster pocket holsters. The jury's still out on that. I have not figured out the best way to use that.
Out of the holster works way better. If you're going to shoot it, make sure it's out.
But you know what? Once you shoot it, the holster just goes out there and smacks people around, too, so it works out well.
Okay, let's break this down in the simplest form. I'm sorry if you already know this information.
Okay, what is holster? What is a holster? It's usually a floppy piece of nylon that people bought that there's a piece of junk that they should have bought something good.
Exactly. And how many people do not use one with a pocket carry? Why?
Why? Look, it's less comfortable. It's more likely to print to show people you have a gun. And, it's less safe. And that also, by the way, applies in a purse or a bag. Absolutely. It needs to be in a holster and not just rattling around where, keys, chapstick, pins, flashlights, and anything else can get into that trigger guard.
Amen.
Exactly.
All that stuff.
I try to tell you kids this. You just won't listen.
When you put that gun in your book bag, oh, God, did you say that? Oh, my gosh. Oh, no.
Zero tolerance. I'm calling school board.
I'm leaving. I'm not going to be part of this conversation.
Are you going to your safe space?
Yes.
Wait, wear the special hat. That's anatomically correct hat.
Oh, my. No. I have found that every place that I am is my safe space because I surround myself with my own safe space.
There you go.
It's, basically it's 9mm generated. It's my ballistically safe space.
There you go.
Or this past week, it was .357 Magnum.
So you're a revolver boy, huh?
I did. I carried the revolver for 3 days this week. I have found, it was kind of weird, and I love my 1911s, but I found I cannot carry my 1911s inside the waistband. And it's that little short waist thing I've got, and it's just sticking in, basically the muzzle's running up against my butt, and which shoves the grip back into my ribs, which, it's kind of like, okay, this is not working for me.
You need to wear your pants up higher.
I can do the whole Urkel thing?
Yes, then you'll have plenty of space.
I know. Let's go with the bib overall thing.
There you go.
All right.
No, but in all seriousness, it does make a huge difference as far as you want a 3-inch gun, you want a 5-inch gun, because torso is everything. You don't think it's much until you try to put a holster and pistol combo there, and if you have a short torso, it's difficult.
And a lot of women have short torsos. It's why they have trouble carrying in a belt. And so they really do have to go with the short. That's where something like a Shield or an XDS, one of those works so well because you're looking at a 3.5 inch barrel. That is pretty sweet.
I have a short torso, but it's someone else's.
Oh, gosh.
Thank you, Peter Lorre.
Yes, you're welcome. I'm here all week. 2 shows, 8 and 11.
But you notice no one else is here all week with you. So it's okay. Oh, well. Okay, so I'm thinking that the ideal caliber is the one you can shoot.
There you go.
And the one that you have. And get good ammo for it. Exactly.
And practice.
Train.
Train.
We just did something. Oh, we got a new gun in, I don't know, in the last few months. We're always getting new guns in. And went out to shoot it, and it didn't do what it was supposed to do. And so it was one of those reminders, oh, yes, if you're actually going to carry it and use it for defense, please run a few hundred rounds through it to make sure it actually functions.
And not just practice ammo?
Well, I like to run 200 or 300 rounds of practice ammo first, just as the breaking in process. And then I would like to run 50 rounds at least of your carry ammo. What would you think is a good number?
No, but there's a lot of people.
Half a dozen mags worth,
Yeah, there's a lot of people that just, go out and shoot on the ranges and then change out their magazines and never shoot their hollow point self-defense ammo. Yeah.
Aha.
Which, of course, can perform way differently than, especially.
It may not feed.
Right. It may not feed, and depending on the grain and what you've chosen, it doesn't hit the same spots.
All right, here's another one for you. Also, make sure that the magazines you use for carry, you have tried all of those at the range, because that may be the sticking point.
Yep. Man, we're just full of good
information. If you
information.
have a problem with your feeding in your gun, it's probably the magazine. All right, well, you guys, I know that Michelle and your family, you've got enough military folks that they have some connection with someone that they can remember.
Yes, sir.
For tomorrow. And I just throw that out for everybody. And everybody else, just take care of your family. It's, give it some thought. It's funny, every time I hear one of these stories, like these shootings, I think, every time you think, oh, this is heavy, this is uncomfortable, I'm only going to be away for all those things. You think, yeah, but crazy just shows up when you least expect it, doesn't it?
What's the odds of,
Never happens in my town.
Yes, I live in a safe area.
Famous last words.
All those things we say, we've heard. Yeah. Nah, just put it on. Because you know where I've gone? People are actually more afraid of being embarrassed than they are of being killed. So I've decided that all I have to do is conjure up what would it feel like? How embarrassed would I be if I didn't have my gun when I needed it? I mean, forget all of the physical, what could happen to you stuff. I would just be mortally embarrassed that I was so stupid as to not have carried my gun.
Good way to turn that around.
So I don't, it's not that I'm afraid of being killed. I just don't want to be embarrassed. So there you go.
What would people say?
Whatever works for you, man. Use it. All right. All right, we'll see you guys next week. And everybody else, be safe out there.
Be good.
Bye, guys.
Well, that wraps up another Gun Talk After Show. But if you want even more gun-related stuff, don't forget to check out GunDealio. It's the app for Apple and Android phones that connects you to all the Gun Talk shows, plus even more. And we'll catch you next time for the Gun Talk After Show.